Hey, what's going on, beautiful jellyfish? It's Tracy. Thank you so much for hanging out. I am really excited because today we're going to be talking about underrated EDH cards part 3. I've already done parts 1 and 2, obviously. Part 1 was, I feel like, a long time ago, and then I feel like I did part 2 pretty recently, but this is a mini series on my channel that I have a bunch that I just kind of like to add on to, and I talk about 10 cards featured in this. I read all my comments, so if there are any cards that you think I should show up in part 4, definitely let me know in the comments below. But these are 10 underrated cards, and I am so excited about these videos because I get to like hype up cards that people might not know about or might not play with. Now, that's not being like, if these cards are popular in your playgroup, that's awesome. This is just from what I've seen in like my game store. So yes, my opinion is of course biased. You might be like, everyone in my game store plays X. Like, I haven't seen as many people, or some people have said that card isn't that good, or things like that. So I wanted to talk about 10 cards that I think are really underrated and why. Also, I'm sick, so I'm sorry if you hear that in my voice. The first card I want to talk about is Deadbridge Chant. Oh my god, I love this card so much. I run this card in Thassa, and literally, like, I don't think people understand how good this card is. It's under $1, it's very inexpensive, and I think it's just a card that, like, once it sits there, the longer it sits, the better it gets. But what I will say is, even if you cast this card in mill 10 and someone kills it, you don't really care that much because you've milled 10 cards. Like, obviously these belong in like very specific type of like graveyard decks, but if this card is left alone, so even if you mill the 10, you're like happy to mill the 10, but even if like if the card stays around, you get to bring something back. If it's a creature, you get it on the battlefield. Y'all, that's insane. Like, for 6 mana to mill 10 and do that every turn that it stays on the board, this is incredible. And then if it's not a creature, you just put it in your hand. It's just like free recursion. This card is so good, and I feel like no one plays it in my area. I think this card is so good. Okay, this card probably people play, but I don't see it in my game store, and that is Thassa. I feel like, in my opinion, Thassa is one of the best gods. She is so strong. Okay. She's 3 mana, first off. She's super cheap. She's so good in the early game. Like, I've been in so many games where I'm playing, like, ladies, and I, like, get her specifically, or I tutor for her, or I get her, and because I love the scry effect. So, you don't care that she's a creature, whatever. She works really well as a commander, too, I feel like. At the beginning of our Could Be Scry 1, that's great. And then for 2 mana, you can make something unblockable. Like, this card's so dumb. Like, Thassa is so good for so many reasons. Honestly, if they just had, like, one of these abilities, I think it would be really good. But it's so much better that they have, like, 2. She's so good. The next card is one of my personal favorites, and I love talking about this card, and that is Den Protector. I love Den Protector with... I feel like I love this card too much because I have been in 1,207 exactly scenarios where I have put my morph down. Oh my god. So my mic just got knocked over because I was so excited talking about Den Protector that, like, I lost it. Okay, so Den Protector, y'all. Okay, I've been in so many situations where I morph, and then everyone at the table's like, Tracy just played a Den Protector. Like, everyone knows this is like one of my staple signature cards. Like, this is like literally like I am known for this card. I love being known for Den Protector. This card is so good. So it's 3 mana and then it's 2 mana to like unmorph it. And what I really like about this card is it kind of seems like a lot of mana, but what I really love about the morph mechanic is that you can space it out over turns. So you can morph it, and then if it doesn't die, you can unmorph it. And like, let's be real, like no one has ever killed my morph before. So if you're like concerned that that's a thing, no one will do it, I promise. Like I've never, and I've played with Den Protector 700 times. Like, it's not gonna happen. Like, no one will kill your morph, I promise. Unless you're playing like a morph deck, in which case like they might, but no one really plays a morph deck, so that's the thing. Oh, sorry if you can hear the timer. But anyways, Paul's taking care of it. I'm not like leaving my kitchen unattended. But anyway, so I like that you can spread it out, so then you unmorph it and then you can bring something back, which is really good. It is anything, you can return it to your hand, and then it becomes a 3/2, which is pretty good. Overall, card's amazing. I love everything about this card. Okay, this next card is pretty new to me, and I honestly don't feel like I've ever played with this card, but I feel like I really like it, and that is Decimate. This card I feel like a lot of people might say is very situational, and I do agree this card is situational, but honestly, if you're playing, like, this card doesn't belong in every deck that runs these colors, but you will know your play group if you know that this card will be relevant, because it gets rid of an artifact, which is super relevant, a creature, which is relevant. Enchantment might be the one thing that you might not find in most games of EDH, and target land. It is something that I believe you have to target each of those things. Please correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm saying the wording of this wrong, but you do have to destroy every single thing, so you might have to destroy one of your own things. If you're casting it, there's not something else that's applicable, but this card is really good. It's 4 mana to destroy 4 things. That's 1 mana to destroy, like, 4. That's really, really good. 1 mana for each. Overall, I think Decimate's very underrated. It's very cheap and very strong. Okay, y'all. I can't even talk to you about how much I love this card. Rishkar's Expertise. My friend Logan, who I know watches my videos, has I am blanking on what the commander's name is called, but it's the Slumbering Isle, but I can't remember his name. It's the land that becomes, it's a 12/12, but then you tick it down once you cast a spell. I don't know. I'm saying this really, really poorly, but Rixsmithies, there we go. Had a Rixsmithies, Rixsmithies is 12/12, cast Rishkar's Expertise. I was like, oh my god, it's like the best thing ever. You get to like draw 12 cards. Okay, this card is so good. It's 6 mana, you don't care. You draw cards equal to the greatest power among creatures you control. So you play really, really big things, and then you play this card, and you get to draw a bunch of cards. Awesome. Not only that, but you get to cast something with converted mana cost 5 or less for free. This is so good. It kind of is like, if you want to look at it this way, it's like you pay 5 mana for something, and then for 1 mana you get to cast this card. Like, this card is so dumb. I think this card is incredibly strong. I love it. Oh, so good. So good. Oh my god, I love this card. Victimize. Okay. I don't think people know how good this card is. It's really good. So, y'all, here's what you do. You sack something. You don't care at all. At all. You're playing a Graveyard Recursion deck, or even if you're not, which you're playing black, so you probably should be, but, like, you don't care. You get 2 things. 2 things. I'm making sure I'm reading the card right. Back. They come in tapped. You literally don't care. You get 2 things for 3 mana. I don't know if some people realize that this card is amazing. Love this card. Okay, another Graveyard Recursion card, because I love those. Unearth. This card is incredibly strong in certain decks. If you're playing a really, really high curve, I feel like it doesn't make sense, but honestly, Unearth is so good. You probably won't really use it for the cycle cost, but for 1 mana to bring something with converted mana cost 3 or less, this card is so good, and I feel like so many people sleep on this card. This card is honestly just really, really incredible. I like it a lot. Okay, I feel like some people might give me, some flack for this card, because there are a lot of cards that say take extra turns, but I really like Temporal Trespass a lot. 1, because the art is fire, and 2, because it's got delve, and realistically, like, let's just like talk like best case scenario, which is most case scenario. At least when I cast this in Thassa, I delve a bunch of cards, I cast this, and then I win on my next turn. But say you don't, which is pretty unlikely, because you probably have a counterspell up. That's just like the assumption. You're playing blue, so you probably have a counterspell up. At least that's like this is like 98% of times when I've cast Temporal Trust, I've had a counterspell, and I've been able to like back up like what I'm doing. But say that doesn't happen in that instance where you get out countered or whatever it is, and you do need those cards gone from your graveyard. This card is really good. And then it boils down to 3 mana. Yeah, there are better cards that are cheaper and stuff like that in terms of like cheaper mana wise, but I really like Temporal Trespass, and I really like the art. Okay, this card I get a lot of flack for from one of my friends, but I love this card, and that is Phyrexian Reclamation. This card is so good. Like, it's 1 mana to play, so it's so good in the early game. You kill their thing, you kill your things, they kill your things, whatever the situation is. You pay 2 life, and you just get a creature back. Like, the amount of times I've just looped with this card is insane. You can just, like, you sack something, and then it dies, and then you bring it back, and then you sack, like, it's such a good loop. Like, it's so easy to, like, go infinite with this card, I feel like. I feel so good whenever I have this card out. Like, I just feel like I'm in such a good position whenever I have this card out. I love it. Awesome. The last card I want to talk about in this video, but I already have like 5 cards for part 4, so that'll definitely be coming in the future, is Angelic Arbiter. I really don't think people realize how good this card is when it's on the board, because I've cast this card in Angels and I'm like, they'll like cast a spell and they'll like go to combat and I'm like, you can't do that. And they're like, why not? And I'm like, the card says so. Like, I think people just forget what this card does, or either like underhype it or don't think it's that good, or I don't really know what it is, but this card is so incredibly strong. It's kind of a lot of mana, but like honestly, if you're playing like an Angel deck, I think this card even honestly works on like if you're not playing an Angel deck. Like, it is kind of a lot of mana, but if you're playing like another color, I think this card works really well. It doesn't affect you, which a lot of people think it does. It does not affect you, so you can cast spells and attack. It's got flying, it's a 5/6, it's a really nice body, and you really you slow down a lot of your opponents, because this is a really good card that you play when you're in a really not good situation and you jam this card down, and then your opponents are in this predicament, like if you're at a low life total where they know they can't you don't want them to cast spells because they could kill you, but they also can't attack, they have to pick, and I think that puts them in a really interesting predicament, and I really like this card. So y'all, that is everything for this video. I really hope that you enjoyed this, and like I said, please let me know if there are any cards that you think I should add in future videos. Like I said, I've already done parts 2 and part 1. That was weird how I said that. I've already done parts 1 and 2, so if you want to check those out. I mentioned a bunch of really awesome hidden gems that people might not have known about, and if you have any recommendations, please let me know in the comments below, but I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye.